Welcome to the meaning of the word. Many people have an opinion about the traditional Latin Mass, but very few have ever heard it explained by someone who lived it daily, prayed it deeply, and taught it before the liturgy changed to what we see today in the Ortus Novum. In this series, we let the tradition speak with its own voice through a Benedictine priest writing in 1897 when the traditional Latin Mass, also known as the Roman Rite, was the only way that Roman Catholics celebrated the Holy Mass. His name was Reverend Dom Ildephonsus Lanslots. His book, The Illustrated Explanation of the Prayers and Ceremonies of the Mass, was published in 1897, bearing the imprimatur of the Archdiocese of New York. So today, rather than guessing or speculating, we allow the traditional Latin Mass to be explained by one of its own. Lanslots begins his introduction with a statement that sets the stage for everything that follows. The Church is a moral body. Its head is Christ. Its members are the faithful. This means that the Mass is never the action of the priest alone. It is not the isolated act of a clerk standing before a congregation. It is an act of the whole mystical body, united with its divine head. Lanslots writes, "The head and the members cooperate in the actions of the Church, and principally in the holiest and sublimest act of religion, the holy sacrifice of the Mass. This is one of the most important foundations for understanding the traditional Latin Mass. Christ is the principal actor. The priest serves in his place. The faithful are not spectators. They are members of the body. And through this sacred action, something profound occurs. Through the sacred liturgy, and chiefly from the Holy Mass, the Spirit and the life of Christ flow into his mystic body, and all the members who take part in it with attention and devotion. Christ pours his life into his Church through the Mass, but only those who unite themselves interiorly receive the fruit. Why mere physical presence is not enough. Here Lanslots speaks with clarity that cuts across centuries. It is possible for one to be present at the mysteries of our holy religion and yet not partake of the fruits thereof. How many Catholics have experienced this? To be physically in the Church and yet spiritually elsewhere. He explains, although one may be present bodily at the holy sacrifice of the Mass, yet if he take no part in it, and is no wise a co-offerer with the high priest of the new law, he will not experience the salutary influence which Christ exerts in his mystic body. The Mass is not magic. It requires interior union, joining Christ's offerings with our own hearts, intentions, and sacrifices. Lanslots gives us the example. Such were the Blessed Virgin and a few other pious persons who were present at the sacrifice of the cross. They were co-offerers in the holy sacrifice. Mary, John, and the holy women did not stand at Calvary as spectators. They united themselves to Christ's sacrifice in love, grief, humility, and faith. This is the model for every Catholic at every Mass, especially in the traditional Latin Mass, where the focus is entirely on the sacrifice of Christ and our participation in it. Why devotion has declined. Lanslots then shifts to a sober reflection, one that sounds astonishingly modern. But alas, how degenerate have we become in the religious sentiments of our ancestors in the faith. Then he continues, because our faith languishes, and because we do not strengthen our weakness by the means which made heroes of them. He is saying, if we do not understand the Mass, we will not love the Mass. If we do not love the Mass, we will not seek its fruits. And he names the root problem. They do not sufficiently reflect over the sublime work at which they assist as sleeping members, or because they do not know how to unite themselves with their head in the combined offering of the sacrifice to God. This is why this series matters. Not to give opinions, but to restore knowledge that leads to devotion. Understanding leads to love. Lanslots makes a promise that becomes the mission of this entire series. Our respect and devotion for the august sacrifice of our altars would increase in proportion to our knowledge of the ceremonies and prayers of Holy Mass. In other words, if you understand the Mass, you will love the Mass, and if you love the Mass, it will transform your life. He concludes the introduction with a beautiful appeal from the Psalms, the longing of a soul drawn to God's altar. How lovely are thy tabernacles, O Lord of hosts! My soul longeth and fainteth for the courts of the Lord. Thy altars, O Lord of hosts, my King and my God. This is the heart of the traditional Latin Mass, a longing for God, a love for His presence, a desire to be near His altar. In this series, guided by the wisdom of Reverend Lanslots, we will walk step by step through every part of the traditional Latin Mass: the altar, the candles, the vestments, the prayers, the gestures, the canon, and the quiet moments where heaven touches earth. By understanding the meaning behind each element, we fulfill Lancelot's hope that knowledge may awaken devotion, and devotion may awaken love of the Mass. Join me next time for Episode 2, The Altar, Foundation of the Sacrifice. May God bless you.